In today's video, I'm going to be going over my top 10 favorite matches from Survivor Series. If you guys, of course, notice the difference of the background a little bit, of course, it is the sort of holiday season. Of course, yes, a couple weeks away from Thanksgiving, and I have, of course, Christmas up. Yes, me and my family are definitely, of course, those people that definitely start putting up Christmas and our Christmas tree a little bit before Thanksgiving. So yes, for the next few videos, and of course for the rest of December as well, Christmas tree will be in the background of the video. Now, enough about the Christmas tree. Please don't come after me about being a person that puts up Christmas before Thanksgiving. There's a lot of other people who do it. I'm just one of them, along with my family as well. But anyway, enough about the Christmas tree. Enough about Christmas for right now. Go ahead and get into the video again. The title of this video and what I will be talking about is my top 10 favorite Survivor Series matches. Of course, we're on the road to Survivor Series, which is also about a week or two away right now. So I wanted to go over my favorite matches from the Survivor Series from the pay-per-view, mostly since around the middle of the 2010s, from like 2014 and 2015 is sort of the years of like the furthest back for some of these matches, and of course up to, of course, around the 2020s. I do have a couple honorable mention matches, which is about five honorable mention matches, which of course I'll go ahead and say real quick first before we get on to the top 10. Before we get into the video though, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys are wrestling fans, and of course do love wrestling content, of course, that I do here on the channel, but also do love football content. I do football content with LSU and Saints and other football as well, along with, of course, wrestling content like this. If you guys are fans with all those, this is definitely a channel for you. So hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell for future upcoming videos here on the BrewCrew channel. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and get right into the video. Of course, again, we'll start off with the honorable mentions. The first honorable mention that I have is going to Survivor Series 2018 with the first time ever match between Shinsuke Nakamura and Seth Rollins. This was the first time ever these two faced off against each other. It was definitely a really great back and forth match, and of course it was Seth Rollins who got the win, so this definitely lands into an honorable mention. Staying on, though, for Survivor Series 2018 is the match between Ronda and Charlotte. Yes, this match did end in no disqualification, but before it ended in no disqualification, it was a really good women's one-on-one match. Of course, we know later on, years later, they would face against each other at WrestleMania, and of course have their little rivalry later on in 2022, but of course this was the first match between the two, and it was a good match, but of course ended in no disqualification, which kind of lands it into an honorable mention. The next honorable mention goes to Survivor Series 2021, which was the men's 10-man tag team match at Survivor Series 2021, which was the final, of course, traditional Survivor Series match. I can't remember who was in it, but I would pop up the picture. It was a really great match, but I think I remember the final two was, of course, Seth Rollins and Jeff Hardy, and I believe Seth Rollins got the win for Monday Night Raw. I don't know why I'm not remembering right now, but it was a really great match. If you guys haven't seen it, definitely go check it out. Another honorable mention match is actually going a couple of years ago in 2023 with Gunther versus The Miz in probably an underrated Intercontinental Championship match. I remember watching this match live and definitely actually thinking Miz was close to becoming Intercontinental Champion again. Almost thought he could have, but Gunther, of course, came out with the victory and retained. Almost could have cracked in the top 10 for me, but it gets an honorable mention. And our final honorable mention goes to Survivor Series 2017 match, the Usos versus the Bar. Of course, the SmackDown Tag Champs versus the Raw Tag Champs. Usos SmackDown Tag Champs, Bar the Raw Tag Champs. The Usos got the win in this one in a really great underrated tag team match. And of course, both teams had really great chemistry with each other in a pretty good, solid match. So that, of course, ends our honorable mentions. Now let's go ahead and get into my top 10. Ooh, excuse me. Sorry about that. Let me go ahead and get into the top 10 of my favorite Survivor Series matches. Starting us off is, shockingly, the only women's Survivor Series match that I do have on here, but it really does deserve to be on this top 10 for me, is the match between Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair at Survivor Series 2021. In my opinion, looking back at this match was by far their best match. One of their best matches against each other. Of course, nothing will top the last women's standing match that they had at Evolution back in, I believe, 2018. But this match is definitely, in my opinion, a close second, in my opinion. It was just back and forth. It was great storytelling, because also around this time, everybody really believed, and I believe it was true, that these two, not only like it being scripted, like, but actually backstage, did not like each other. Because of course we remember they were friends. We saw that backstage, and then of course everything happened in, of course, 2018 going to 2019 with Becky Lynch becoming the man and all that, and then definitely having that first run of the rivalry with Charlotte, and then over time seeing that it was not becoming a friendship anymore, that these two women actually hated each other. And it showed a little bit in this one-on-one match for some fans. It was a great match. I believe Becky came out with the win, but it was a really great match. If you guys haven't watched it, definitely go watch these matches. I might honestly leave a link to some of these matches. If I can find them on YouTube, I might leave a link to some of the matches if you guys want to go check them out. If I can find like the full matches or something. But if I am not able to, but definitely go check them out. I'll try to leave a link to some of the matches. But again, number 10, Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair at Survivor Series 2021. Next match, we go to 2019 Survivor Series, the first and only Survivor Series that had Raw versus NXT versus SmackDown. Of course, some of these matches were triple threat matches, and this one is a really underrated match on this show, and probably definitely one of the best matches on the show. Was the mid-card champions, AJ Styles, Roderick Strong, and Shinsuke Nakamura. AJ, the United States Champion, Nakamura, the Intercontinental Champion on SmackDown, and Roderick Strong with the Undisputed Era, the NXT North American Champion. A great style, so many great styles in this match, with the amazing athletic ability of AJ Styles, with Roderick Strong, of course, both men known big with definitely Ring of Honor as well. Shinsuke Nakamura with AJ Styles history with New Japan and all that. So definitely amazing style. Roderick Strong, of course, would come out with the win. Amazing match this was. I definitely watched it for the first time when I was making this video. I remembered this match, and I remember seeing highlights. I watched the match full. It was still a really great match. Again, the styles were just amazing with all three, and really great chemistry with all three as well. And definitely, if you watched it, if you forgot, this was around the time in 2019 that Sami Zayn apparently was a manager for Shinsuke Nakamura. So if you watch this match and you see Sami Zayn and are questioning why Sami is cheering on Nakamura, that's why. It was a weird time in 2019 for wrestling fans. So yeah, but again, the match was great, and this comes in at number 9 in my top 10. Next, at number 8, as we go back to 2018, with the only match from the 2018 show that I have in my top 10, is the first time ever match between Daniel Bryan and Brock Lesnar. Now, we know Survivor Series 2018 wasn't that great of a show, but it did have some really great matches with Nakamura and Rollins, Flair and Ronda. But then, of course, this match between the World Champions, Bryan the WWE Champion, and Lesnar the Universal Champion, first time ever these two men finally going at it. It lived up to the hype and the expectation of how the matches would go. And, of course, Daniel Bryan going into his heel turn phase at this point to the new Daniel Bryan is what he would sort of call himself. Of course, hitting the low blow multiple times, almost thinking he would pull off the win, but Lesnar, of course, would pull off the win. And this was a clean sweep for Monday Night Raw on this show, so that kind of reason why this show wasn't that great. But of course, this was one of the best matches on the show, and in my opinion, it deserves to be in my top 10 at number 8. Next, coming in at number 7 is the multi-man, the 5-on-5-on-5 triple threat Survivor Series tag team match at Survivor Series 2019. Team NXT, Team Raw, and Team SmackDown. Can't remember of who everybody was on each team, but it was a great wild match with so many great spots and all that, and interactions between the different superstars, especially if you look at Team NXT. I believe Team NXT, I think I remember they had Tommaso Ciampa, Keith Lee, Matt Riddle, Damian Priest, and Walter, who we know as Gunther. And just seeing them and seeing where they are now in 2025 is sort of weird with some of the superstars, but definitely especially with Damian Priest now being a former world champion, it's definitely crazy to see. But the match was definitely great. The ending was great as well, with Keith Lee almost pulling out the victory for NXT, getting the pin on Roman. But of course, Roman would get the win for Team SmackDown, and again, an amazing match. Definitely deserves to be in the top 10 at number 7. Now, coming in at number 6 as we get closer to our top 5, staying on Survivor Series 2019, is Adam Cole versus Pete Dunne for the NXT Championship. Yes, 2019 had the triple threat champion versus champion matches and all that, but sadly for the world titles, they did not. They had just singles matches with people challenging, which a lot of fans were definitely upset about, but it was worth only for one of the titles, because the other two title matches were but this one definitely was amazing. Adam Cole versus Pete Dunne for the NXT Championship. It was big, of course, for Adam Cole because literally the night before he had TakeOver War Games. And he was all bandaged up after what happened. Pete Dunne was in a triple threat match to get this number one contenders match. So these two men were literally had matches the day before, faced off against each other, and put on a classic. If you have not watched this match, definitely I recommend go seeing this match. It was a crazy, amazing match, amazing chemistry between the two. Pete Dunne almost came out with the win, but Adam Cole would retain and continue his reign as NXT champion around this point. So this match comes in at number 6 on my top 10 list. Now we go a couple years back to another first time ever match at Survivor Series 2017. That, of course, is AJ Styles versus Brock Lesnar for the first time ever. Of course, we all know that this was almost would have been Brock Lesnar and Jinder Mahal, but we then know AJ Styles won the WWE title a couple weeks later after the announcement, becoming the new WWE Champion, setting up the big-time dream match between Lesnar and Styles. This, of course, like Bryan and Lesnar, this lived up to the expectations. Still was the only time that Lesnar and Styles fought against each other, and it's definitely a still great, amazing match. Definitely wasn't long of a match. I don't know if Bryan and Lesnar was long of a match as well, but was not long of a match, but it was definitely perfect for however long it was. And of course, Lesnar would come out with the win, but Styles had so many opportunities, close opportunities, to almost pull off the victory, a shocking upset victory. But Lesnar got the win, and of course, this ekes into the top 5 at number 5. Coming in at number 4, as we actually go to the only match for Survivor Series 2020. Yes, this of course was in the Thunderdome, but it's still a really great match and one of the best matches in their rivalry. That of course is the champion versus champion match with Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre. It's definitely not up there with their Clash at the Castle match, but this is definitely one of their best matches in their rivalry between each other. It was a great back and forth war between the two. Roman, of course, came out with the win with a little bit of help from Jey Uso, but it was still a great match and one of my personal favorite matches. It ekes into the top 5 for me at number 4. Now coming into my top 3 is, of course, multi-man matches for 3, because, of course, why not? Because, of course, it's multi-man matches for Survivor Series, so it's definitely going to be my top 3. But this first one is, of course, a traditional Survivor Series tag match, as we actually go all the way back to Survivor Series 2014. If you know what match it is I'm about to say, yes, it is, of course, Team Authority versus Team Cena at Survivor Series 2014. Literally, like I've heard everybody else say, every other fan say when they go over this match or talk about this match, this is the only match they remember from this Survivor Series 2015 show. Of course, this match also towards the end had technically the WWE debut of the Icon Sting, which was a big time moment towards the end of the match. Of course, everybody remembers it as the Dolph Ziggler show, as Ziggler single-handedly, yes, with the help from Sting at the end, took out the rest of the Authority with a 3-on-1 handicap match at the end after Cena was eliminated towards the end. All in all, though, even though with that stuff towards the end, the rest of the stuff was a really good match, and of course is not only up there as one of my favorite matches, it's up there as one of the best traditional Survivor Series tag team matches in the history of the match. But in my personal opinion, this comes in at number 3 in my top 10 favorite matches from Survivor Series. Now, of course, coming in at number 2, you probably would have thought I would have some War Games matches on here, so yes, I do, but only one, the only War Games match I have on here. I do, of course, love the other War Games matches as well, and I do love, of course, the Bloodline Civil War War Games match that happened last year, but there is nothing, in my opinion, going to top the first War Games match at Survivor Series back in 2022, the Bloodline versus the Team Brawling Brutes with Kevin Owens, Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, and the rest of the Brawling Brutes, Ridge Holland, and of course Pete Dunne, also was known as Butch in this group. It was an amazing match, and of course the ending was great as well, with of course the whole story being of Sami Zayn proving himself, proving his loyalty to the Bloodline, Jay finally seeing that, and them of course hugging it out towards the end, Jay finally taking in Sami as a member of the Bloodline, helping Roman and the Bloodline win. It was just an all-out amazing match. Definitely, if nobody has seen this match, I recommend watching this match. I can't even say what I'm trying to say because of how much I do love this match. But shockingly, it does not get at number 1, I should say, on my list. It comes in at number 2, and we'll get to number 1. But this War Games match comes in at number 2 on my list. And speaking of my number 1 favorite Survivor Series match of all time, in my opinion, is none other than the 5-on-5 traditional men's Survivor Series tag match from 2016, the first in years, Team Raw versus Team SmackDown. Team Raw represented, of course, by the Universal Champion Owens, Chris Jericho, U.S. Champion Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and Braun Strowman. SmackDown, AJ Styles, who was WWE Champ at the time, Dean Ambrose, who of course we know as Jon Moxley, Shane McMahon, Randy Orton, and Bray Wyatt. Rest in peace, Bray Wyatt. But of course this match was amazing. Team SmackDown came up with the win, but it's an amazing, yes, it's a long match with around 53 minutes, I believe it is, almost close to an hour. It's one of the longest matches in WWE history, and it is definitely worth the 53 minutes of watching. Definitely recommend watching this match. It is my number 1 favorite Survivor Series match of all time. Now with this video being done, ladies and gentlemen, again, I will probably leave links down below for some of the matches. I'll try to find any that I can. Links to those will be in the description below if you guys want to go check out those videos, those matches. I definitely recommend it. My parents just got home, so if I'm trying to be quiet, it's because of that. But anyway, guys, again, quickly go ahead and end it. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys thought of these matches, what you thought about my top 10. I'll see you guys in my next video. Before I go, I don't know what's wrong with me right now with my head's going. Leave a like, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell here on the BrewCrew channel. See you guys in my next video. Have a blessed day. Peace.